Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Dozens of cases now under the microscope after police officers were found to be sending racist and homophobic text messages. Good evening, I'm Veronica Dela Cruz.
And I'm Ken Bastida. 4 San Francisco police officers are accused in this scandal, and now the NAACP is involved as well. As KPIX 5's Phil Mateer tells us, this is the latest in a series of scandals for this department. Phil, what's going on?
That's right. Ken, in the last couple of years, as we've been covering, San Francisco has more than its share of scandals, large and small. But this one that landed on its doorstep Friday in the form of a federal court document is really going to take the cake. Here's the story.
We are aghast, appalled, and very much disappointed.
We're outraged.
There's no place in the San Francisco Police Department for any dishonest or any racially biased officers.
It began when narcotics officers were videotaped conducting illegal searches at a local welfare hotel. The ensuing FBI investigation led to the conviction of this officer, Ian Firminger, and 3 others on charges of stealing drug money and other property. And in a court filing Friday, another bombshell, pages and pages of racist and homophobic texts between Firminger and 4 other officers not involved in the corruption case. Texts that said, among other things, quote, "Blacks should be spayed, white power, kill half-breed children," and referring to Filipinos as filthy flips. And you are a total homo.
There's no doubt there was some joking. The fact that they think that's funny is awfully scary if you're a black citizen on the streets of San Francisco.
We are calling on an immediate independent investigation.
One of the officers involved made news in 2009 when he was caught on video saying that he would
break your arm like a twig
if he resisted arrest. The texts were the latest in a string of embarrassments for the department, like the detention of public defender Jamie Tillotson. And this video of police trying to stop an African-American man in a wheelchair from intervening in a police stop at the Sunnydale projects.
This is disturbing. This is a real problem.
Someone don't want you to believe that this is a deep-rooted problem within the department. In my 21 years, that I can assure you that it's not.
We're going to have to review at least 141 cases and probably more. Every case where these officers testified in, racial bias may be an issue.
Now, the district attorney, George Gascon, announced that he's going to be reviewing cases as well, as far as 10 years back, Ken. Mayor Ed Lee says he's shocked, disturbed. The police chief says the same thing. But the Officers for Justice, which represents black police, says it may go further and warrant even further investigation.
All right, Phil Mateer in San Francisco. Thanks, Phil.
We just learned the district attorney will not file charges against one of the suspects in the murder of an Oakland mother. 3 of the suspects were arrested this weekend. 2 of them were booked on homicide charges, but prosecutors declined to file charges against the 3rd. The suspects are accused in the murder of 30-year-old Shamil Pierce last week. She was trying to hustle her children inside their home when she was hit by a stray bullet. Tonight, Christian Rassner's parents want action from the San Jose police. Christian is the Milpitas teen beaten outside Valley Fair Mall last week. KPIX 5's Devin Feely live in San Jose to tell us what the family is demanding. Devin?
You know, Christian's family says that their singular focus is to ensure that he makes a full recovery, but they also desperately want the police to catch the 2 men who put him in the hospital in the first place. And they say they're finding it increasingly difficult to understand why the police department won't release a potentially crucial piece of evidence.
It's my eldest son, it's my firstborn son. I miss him so much.
For the past 5 days, Maria Rassner has barely left her son Christian's bedside. The 17-year-old remains in a medically induced coma after he was brutally attacked in a parking lot just outside Valley Fair Mall last Wednesday.
He hugged me and kissed me, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" "Valley Fair Mall." And then that's it.
Christian's parents say their son and 2 of his friends were harassed by a pair of men inside the mall who repeatedly asked him if they were in a gang. The men then followed the teens into the parking lot and attacked them. Christian's father is urging the police department to release video from the mall security cameras, which he believes will help the public identify his son's attackers.
A much more express way to do it would be to release it to the public. Yes, they'll get some probably bogus leads, but I just got to imagine that somebody's going to give them that one good lead that leads to them getting off the street.
San Jose police say their gang unit is helping with the investigation, but wouldn't say when or if the security camera video would be released. In the meantime, Christian's parents say they will continue to fight for their son as he fights to recover from a traumatic and potentially life-threatening brain injury.
It's really, really hard. I have so many questions in my head. Is he going to be the same son that I knew? Is he going to recognize us?
There are completely legitimate investigative reasons why the police department might be hesitant to release that security camera video. Now, we tried starting this morning repeatedly to reach a spokesperson for the department to get them to explain their decision not to release that video. So far, no one has made themselves available. Now, Christian's father says he will not issue the police department an ultimatum, but he says his patience is wearing increasingly thin. In San Jose, Devin Feely, KPIX5.
Firefighter helmet cameras captured the frantic moments inside that smoke-filled Caldecott Tunnel number 1 this morning. A car burst into flames, forcing an evacuation. KPIX5's Liz Cook joins us from the newsroom with a look inside the chaos. Liz?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, Ken. It all started when 2 cars collided right outside the tunnel just after 6 a.m. That created a domino effect, causing another accident where a car burst into flames inside an eastbound bore. Smoke quickly filled the tunnel. The helmet camera footage shows just how thick that smoke was. Firefighters were quickly on scene, helping to evacuate 60 people from their vehicles. They went from car to car, checking each one with a flashlight to make sure no one was left. Meanwhile, crews worked up close, spraying the flames and knocking out the fire. Chopper 5, meanwhile, was over eastbound right bore. As it was happening, that thick black smoke was also pouring from the vents above. Drivers who abandoned their cars inside the tunnel stood on the side of the highway waiting for it all to end.
And then that car just immediately wasn't a fireball. It's just like putting too much lighter fluid on your barbecue. It just went whoosh.
No one was hurt, but witnesses tell us people were coughing and wheezing because of that smoke. You can imagine what this did to the morning commute. All eastbound traffic had to be funneled, the second bore causing a huge backup. The tunnel was closed for more than 4 hours while crews made sure everything was safe, and the drivers who had to leave their cars were eventually let back in to retrieve their vehicles. Veronica, back to you.
All right, Liz, thank you. San Jose's mayor is pushing ahead with plans to reopen talks with the police and other unions over the city's Measure B. That is the voter-approved measure designed to cut city pension costs, including police pensions. Before this afternoon's city council meeting, Mayor Sam Liccardo told us the council wants to take another look at the measure. He is confident the city's unions will join the discussions.
I think everyone's got the right approach, which is recognition that the end goal is improving services to our residents.
Mayor Liccardo says the city still needs to save money with its pension system, but it's willing to revise parts of Measure B.
30 charges have been filed against a man suspected of vandalizing San Francisco's Dolores Park. Andrew Yarborough is accused of causing more than $100,000 in damage back in February. Police say the vandalism was so bad it actually delayed the renovation going on at the park. The DA says that Yarborough is facing 10 felonies, 20 misdemeanors for possessing graffiti tools.
Birds are at the heart of an argument over the design of a future pedestrian bridge in Palo Alto. Naturalists say the design chosen could be lethal to birds, and they want the city to go with a different design. KPIX5's Len Ramirez shows us why.
We tend to think of a bird's eye view as something special, but that may not be the case. In fact, birds' blurry vision and blind spots are coming to the fore in arguments against this proposed new foot and bike bridge over Highway 101 in Palo Alto.
Birds do not see the way we do. Their eyes are the side of their heads, not in front. They don't focus as well. Some of them, if they have long beaks, the beak actually creates a blind spot. Dr. Shani Kleinhaus of the Audubon Society worries that there could be many unnecessary bird kills if Palo Alto approves the design known as Confluence. With its 75-foot arch and web of suspension cables, Confluence was supposed to be a landmark. It was the top pick of a jury of architects in an international design competition. But its location along Adobe Creek, right next to the Palo Alto Baylands Nature Preserve, has environmental groups speaking out. We know that migratory and local species collide with a lot of different structures that people put in their way, whether it's power lines or buildings, or in this case, a bridge.
Bridge designers sent a letter to the city council claiming that similar footbridges in bird habitats, including this one at Kelly Park in San Jose, have not resulted in bird kills.
Bridge designers also say their plans incorporate bird-friendly features such as 5-inch steel discs, similar in size to this compact disc, which would be put on the cables themselves to alert the birds of the bridge's presence.
Kleinhaus says that's no guarantee to keep birds safe and recommends the city adopt a low-profile bridge design that was the second pick.
A lot of bird traffic around here.
One neighbor who plans to use the bridge often says a grand design is not important to him.
That's overkill. We just need to get over the freeway.
In Palo Alto, Len Ramirez, KPIX5.
The Palo Alto City Council will be listening to proposals on the design at tonight's meeting. They will then decide which design to go with.
Well, if you blink, you may have missed the little bit of rain that we got this afternoon. San Francisco windshields were sprinkled with drops. Same thing for the sidewalk. It was just enough for people to get out their umbrellas if they had the foresight to bring one to town today. Chief Meteorologist Paul Diano joins us. Paul, we're going to see any more rain this evening?
Yeah, we're just going to not have to blink. It's going to be very, very light. But there are some showers out there. Out toward Vallejo right now, we're seeing some light rainfall and just enough to measure with our KPIX5 weather watchers. One of our weather watchers is reporting some rainfall. That would be Dana up toward Novato. She reports in today that she may have received a few drops in her rain buckets. That is good news. Anytime we're talking about rainfall, we'll talk about additional shower chances coming up.
Well, today's tiny bit of rain surely isn't enough to help the drought now in its fourth year.
The implied policy that really all we have to do is wait for the rains to come, that policy isn't good enough anymore.
Why California may have no choice but to dive into severe water restrictions.
And a big rig slams into a restaurant, bursts into flames. What the driver did to try to warn others, yet no way of stopping.
And he's accused in a murder that happened 15 years ago. His choice of words that landed the millionaire in handcuffs and his Bay Area connection. A big rig driver was found dead after his semi-truck plowed right into the side of a Pittsburgh restaurant. Investigators now looking into what led up to it. As KPIX5's Ryan Takeo reports, what the driver did moments before the accident is giving them a clue.
The big rig driver lost control right here on Railroad and drove right into that Mexican restaurant. Police are looking into the possibility there was a mechanical failure. Pittsburgh police say just after 8, The driver may have tried to warn other drivers.
Flashing his headlights to possibly alert the vehicles in front of him of some sort of failure in the truck.
The big rig carrying gravel slammed into 2 other cars before hitting the restaurant and causing an inferno. The driver still stuck inside.
I just heard an explosion. I thought somebody had ran into my house with a car.
It was loud, but it wasn't her house. It turns out Dana Leatherwood was 1 block away from the boom.
Oh, so I just beside myself thinking of the driver.
The truck's driver died in the fire. Firefighters found him in the driver's seat. No one was in the restaurant at the time. In Pittsburgh, Ryan Takeo, KPIX5.
Well, a gunman is dead after police say he shot a man at a Napa Valley winery. That shooting happened in the vineyard of Dahl Vineyards on Solano Avenue, just south of Yountville. The suspect led police on a chase to Wall Road at the Napa-Sonoma County line. A SWAT unit moved in to help search for the suspect. People in that area were told to shelter in place. The search ended a short time later when authorities found the gunman dead in his car. Police say that he shot himself. Not clear why the gunman shot the man at Dahl Vineyards.
By this time tomorrow, we should know whether mandatory water restrictions will be put in place. The State Water Board is set to vote on the restrictions when it meets. Violating them would lead to a $500 fine. One regulation would force hotels to offer guests the option not to have towels and bed sheets washed on a daily basis. Up until now, conservation has been voluntary.
But that decision comes amid a new round of dire predictions about California's water supply because, by every measure, the drought just keeps getting worse.
Lots of water, not so much water. We're right down there.
If the governor's warnings haven't scared you into shorter showers, how about this headline in the LA Times? A NASA scientist using sophisticated satellite imaging says California is down to just 1 year's worth of water storage.
The realization about how bad the drought is beginning to sink in.
Water expert Peter Glick doesn't exactly agree with that dire 1-year prediction, but he's hardly optimistic.
And the reality is we've drawn down over the last 3 years and now 4 years of drought our reservoir storage. We've overpumped our groundwater. Our soils are dry.
It's a collision of problems creating a drought unlike any we've seen before.
In 76, 77, we had the worst 2-year drought on record, but we have almost twice the number of people in the state as we had at that point.
Then there's climate change, which means drought combined with California's 3 warmest years on record.
And that increases demand for water, increases loss of snow, increases loss of water from our reservoirs.
Finally, we're managing all of this with largely 19th century infrastructure and 20th century water policies. And the results are catching up with us.
Farmers wake up when they can't get irrigation water and they have to fallow their land. And that's already happening. Consumers will wake up when their prices for food start to go up.
Simply put, we're now in what is likely the worst drought in California history, with no end in sight.
The truth is, if we don't deal with the drought now, the pain is going to grow and grow, and we're going to have to put in place much more severe restrictions in the coming years.
Well, according to that NASA study, California would need 11 trillion gallons of water to erase what is now a 4-year drought.
And like Paul was saying earlier, if you blink, you missed it. And I blinked today and I missed it.
Yeah, there it goes.
I didn't see any rain. But you saw a little bit, right?
You know, I mean, those are dire predictions. We've been in this situation before,
yes.
Not that many years ago in California, and we came out of it. So things can turn around.
Yes.
It just takes a while.
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
We had to get that starting point, and let's build on that starting point, work our way up. The problem is, not exactly sure where that starting point is, and we're getting so late in the season, the starting point may be more like 2016. But we'll get there. We will get there. We'll get through this like we always do. Today, a day where it certainly looked like rain all day long, but only a select few of you actually received rainfall. As Veronica mentioned, you blink, you missed it. Cupertino, 76 today. Pittsburgh, 73. Vallejo, your high, 71. San Carlos topped out at 68. If you're watching us in Hercules, it was 67. Bodega Bay, the cool spot at 61 degrees. So who is receiving rainfall? Well, a few light rain showers out toward Vallejo, Vacaville, American Canyon, and Fairfield, basically hugging I-80 east of the Carquinez Bridge, and that is about it. The rain is winding down, but a few of you got showers today, and that is good news. What is not good news is the snowpack. It is down to 13% of normal, or 1/8 of what it should be. For every foot of snow that is present, there should be an additional 7 feet of snow that simply is currently not there. So it would be nice if things changed. With this particular pattern, we'll get a little bit of rainfall, but not much. Big ridge to our south. The dividing line is right over top of us with a storm to the north. Tomorrow, the ridge retreats a little bit, so we will see another chance of showers, perhaps some high elevation snowfall in the North Sierra. On Wednesday, though, the ridge wobbles back toward us, and that means we'll be drier, sunnier, and milder on Wednesday and Thursday, with highs even warmer than what you're going to have tomorrow. And this is a preview of what you can expect on Tuesday afternoon. That would be widespread low 70s, kind of that sticky feel in the air like you had today. Fremont 70, Napa 72, and San Francisco 67 degrees. We are sunnier on Wednesday and Thursday. Another tiny little chance of showers on Friday before we dry out for the weekend. Now we can get frustrated because some days you just look outside and you say, there's no chance of rain. Some days you say, looks like it's going to rain, but it doesn't.
Right.
That'll be kind of like tomorrow. We'll get a few showers.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Well, still ahead, the lifts are empty, and they will stay that way. The Northern California ski resort already shutting its doors for the season.
CHICKENS chicken.
That's right.
Yes, it's that time of year again, earning the bragging rights and much, much more. How these young spellers are raising money for their schools.
Well, this week, the Bay Area's top spellers are pouring through spelling lists, dictionaries. For the second straight year, KPIX is hosting the CBS Bay Area Local Spelling Bee.
Yeah, we're bringing you stories leading up to the regional contest this Saturday. Tonight, Sharon Chin shows us how a little-known program spells green for schools.
Chicken, CHICKENS chicken.
Fourth grader Mary Jaje takes spelling seriously.
Like if you have to write a report, then you don't have to look in the dictionary how you spell it. You already know how.
She's competing with 15 other students to become top speller at St. John's Academy in San Francisco.
ULTIMATUM, ultimatum.
But the bee isn't just about spelling. Schools can also raise money through the Great American Spell Check. The Great American Spell Check is a 7-year-old fundraising program. It's available for schools that enroll in the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Let's look.
Students study from a Scripps word list, then take a written test at school. They ask family and friends to pledge between 25 cents and $2 for each correct word. Their school keeps all of the money raised. St. John Spellers raised $2,400 last year. It paid for 10 new Chromebooks for the school's 52 students.
That influx of funds helped us to absolutely replace an outdated computer lab.
For now, you can staple it in.
The principal's already planning to buy teachers' laptops and update internet service with $3,000 her students raised this year. Of more than 26,000 schools enrolled with Scripps nationwide, only about 200 fundraised through the Great American Spell Check. That's less than 1%. In San Francisco, 32 schools are enrolled with the Scripps National Spelling Bee, but only 6 schools are raising money in the Great American Spell Check. Mary and her dad say it's made a difference.
It's incredible for the school. It's a small school, so any little bit helps.
I feel really good that we're getting money for this school.
In San Francisco, Sharon Chin, KPIX 5.
All right.
Well, Scripps says an elementary school with 320 students could raise $6,000 through the Great American Spell Check. It's pretty good. If most students collect an average of just $25 in pledges.
And as we get ready for the spelling bee, we're going to be testing our own skills with some competition level words. So here is today's. Are you sure?
Yeah,
are you sure? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
ready.
Here we go. Ken, spell kohlrabi. It's a German word.
What, say it again?
Kohlrabi. It's originally from a German word. And
what is that? Can you give me a definition?
Yeah, okay, I will. I didn't want to go that far, but okay, it's a variety of cabbages having an edible stem that becomes greatly enlarged, fleshy, and turnip shape. Kohlrabi.
Never even heard of it. I'll guess K-H-O-L-R-A-B-E.
So close.
Kohlrabi.
So close.
I've never heard the word.
It's Kohlrabi. Oh, almost.
I think it was your pronunciation that threw me
It
off.
was. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm probably mispronouncing it.
They're tough words. And
It
these are
is.
kids, words that kids are going to have. What are you looking at? You guys couldn't spell it. Stop that.
Well, the Spelling Bee airs live this Saturday on our sister station, KBCW. That is channel 44, cable 12 at noon. You can also watch it streaming live on kpix.com/B. And that's B-E-E. That word I can spell.
Got it. Coming up in our next half hour, a real estate heir makes what could be a killer confession. What he said when he thought no one was listening, and his alleged victim's connection to KPIX 5.
And calling it quits for the season. Why a Sierra Ski Resort says it has no choice but to shut down its slopes.
I, not E. I.
watching KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back. Your top stories at 6:30. The NAACP now involved in the scandal involving racist texts from San Francisco police officers. The mayor also says he's disturbed by those texts and agrees with the police chief. The officers involved should be fired.
2 more people are facing charges in the murder of an Oakland mother. 3 new suspects were arrested this weekend. 2 of them are accused in the murder of 30-year-old Shamil Pierce. She was trying to hustle her children inside their home when she was hit by a stray bullet.
And we're getting a first-hand look at the moments following an evacuation of a smoke-filled Caldecott tunnel. Happened right after this car burst into flames from a wreck. 60 drivers had to abandon their vehicles. No one was hurt, but the tunnel had to be shut down for almost 4 hours this morning.
We're just getting word that real estate millionaire Robert Durst is also being booked on weapons charges. Police found a gun in his New Orleans hotel room when he was arrested. As Danielle Nottingham tells us, Durst is charged in the murder of a woman in Los Angeles who used to work here at KPIX 5.
A handcuffed Robert Durst waived extradition at a court hearing in New Orleans. The infamous millionaire agreed to go to Los Angeles to face murder charges for the death of his friend Susan Berman 15 years ago.
Bob Durst didn't kill Susan Berman. He's ready to end all the rumor and speculation and have a trial.
The 71-year-old's arrest came a day before HBO aired the final episode of The Jinx, a documentary about his life. Still wearing a microphone, Durst goes into the bathroom and makes what sounds like a shocking admission.
Kill them all, of course.
Director Andrew Jarecki said on CBS this morning that his crew didn't realize what they recorded until the editing process.
Obviously, for us, a shock because it was many months since we had sat down with him.
Berman was a journalist and author and daughter of a mobster. In the 1970s, she worked at KPIX on the talk show Evening Magazine.
And she was hired as a writer-producer. And to be honest, really, Susan Berman, I thought, sophisticated, well-spoken.
Durst, the heir to a New York City real estate fortune, has long been suspected in the unsolved 1982 disappearance of his first wife, Kathleen, in New York. As investigators prepared to question Berman about Kathleen's disappearance, she was shot to death at her Beverly Hills home. Durst was also tried for the 2001 murder of a neighbor in Texas, but claimed self-defense and was acquitted. Experts say bail is unlikely since Durst has a history of fleeing. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Authorities are not sure yet whether Louisiana prosecutors will try to keep him in the state on the new weapons charges before he's sent to Los Angeles.
Women groped and assaulted just walking down the street. Tonight, a man is in jail accused of being a serial predator. Several victims have come forward, but KPIX 5's Joe Vasquez tells us there could be more in a story you'll see only on 5.
Undercover officers arrested the suspect last Wednesday night at Huntington Park. He was drinking a beer after hours. They then linked him to a series of groping incidents over the last several months. Victor Vasquez is in jail facing 7 charges, ranging from sexual assault to false imprisonment. Investigators say he attacked women ranging from their early 20s to mid-30s who were just walking along the sidewalk.
All of a sudden, the subject would run up or walk up behind him without giving them any advance warning, grab at their lower extremities. The victim would then scream or let out some kind of alert that they were being harmed, and this person would take off running.
In court this afternoon, a prosecutor detailed one of the attacks. They say a woman was walking around here in the Nob Hill area when the suspect approached her from behind, pulled her skirt up, tried to pull her panties down, and then sexually assaulted her.
It's really scary. I mean, I love Nob Hill. It's very safe here. It's a good community, and that kind of scares me. It makes me really a little bit nervous, actually.
The cops are not releasing his photo because they say they need to show his mugshot to more possible victims.
3 victims so far. There could be more. Yes, there could. We believe there will be more. Right now, we've identified 7 cases. There's clearly could be more. We're looking at reports going far back as August of 2014, where this person was a possible person of interest in that case.
Joe Vasquez, KPIX 5.
Police say there have been 10 reports since August. They believe there have been more that have gone unreported, and they are hoping that those victims will now come forward.
A group of students visiting from Arizona can thank a Contra Costa deputy for helping rescue them on Saturday night. The kids were on 680 in Walnut Creek when their tour bus caught fire. They got off the bus safely with the help of Deputy Anthony Caniglio. As the fire spread, he got back on the bus to make sure everyone got out.
The flames had started coming up the side of the bus. You could see them from the passenger compartment windows, and the smoke had already started entering the bus at that point.
Caniglio was on his way to an overtime shift in Danville when he drove by the bus, saw it was on fire, and pulled off the freeway to help with that rescue.
Well, Sierra at Tahoe Ski Resort has done something it has never had to do before. It has closed in March. It's all because of a lack of snow. Nick Janes went there today to see if there's a backup plan for the resort if this record drought goes on much longer.
It is pretty bleak up here. This is supposed to be a ski run. Instead, you have mud, some slush, and even a small stream. Sierra Tahoe finally decided enough was enough.
This is very sad. Very, very sad.
In all his decades of skiing in Europe and the U.S., Tomislav Velic has never had to load up his gear this early, in shorts no less.
I never believed that I will finish the season 15th of March and go home. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Sierra snowfall slowed to a trickle. And man-made snow only goes so far. Sierra at Tahoe's GM says they just had to face facts. There just isn't enough snow to keep the resort open right now.
I've been in the business 37 years, never closed in March. Financially, it's devastating.
Several hundred seasonal employees are out of work much sooner than usual. And as the drought stretches on, we wondered, is there a plan B? Sierra at Tahoe's GM says resorts all over California are being forced to reconsider how they do business. Here, they're thinking of pushing other recreational family activities and events, catering to a new clientele for when the snow isn't falling.
We'll just have to get tough and figure out another way. We're a very adaptable group of folks. In the mountains we have to be.
Pat says he already picked up next season's pass, hoping next year will be different.
Oh, it's real weird. Yeah, it's not even Easter and they're closed already.
Ironically, this resort is located right down the road from where the state does its snow survey. Almost no snow there. It's usually open through April. The GM says that he won't rule out reopening this season if there are more storms that drop enough snow.
Well, you need a password to log on to just about everything these days, but they're easy to forget. Coming up, Yahoo's answer to simplify the process.
Plus, a shopping trend you might not expect. Men's fashion growing faster than women's. We take you inside the Bay Area shopping world to find out why. Yahoo putting a new twist on logging into your accounts. You no longer have to remember your password. Starting today, you can let Yahoo create a password for you. When you want to log in, a short number code is sent to your phone as a text message. That's your one-time password to access Yahoo. You'll get a different code each time you log in. Yahoo says this makes your account much more secure.
Until you change phone numbers and they don't know about it.
There you go.
So, question, are we on the verge of another tech bubble bursting? Tonight, a prominent investor says the Bay Area needs to brace for the worst. I'll have that story and much more tonight on Bay Area Night Beat, 10 o'clock on our sister station, KBCW, 44 Cable 12.
Now, a lot of guys hate to shop, but it turns out millennial men are bucking that trend.
Coming up, what's prompting them to become more fashion forward?
Fashionable right now would be an umbrella if you actually needed one. You did need one in parts of the Bay Area today. KPIX5 high-def Doppler showing you a couple rain showers, especially in the North Bay, city of San Francisco. That is winding down, but we are left with cloudy skies outside right now. Nice shot of Ocean Beach, mostly cloudy. We'll talk about additional rain chances and peer out all the way to next weekend. That's next.
Comes off the third screen right here, can't really clear it. And as I said, really be the one that faces him. Look where his hands go. They go to just take a look right here and watch him gyrate.
So they're young, they're making lots of money, and they want to dress the part.
KPIX5's Mike Sugerman with the fashion industry's newest target.
There are yuppies, young urban professionals. There are dinks, dual income, no kids. Could you be a yummie?
A yummie is a young urban male. Okay. Bucks to spend.
How about a Henry?
Henry is a high earning, not rich yet.
Yummies and Henrys are among the reasons Jonathan Tsai is busy these days.
You could almost say it's a hallmark of more gender equality.
He sells high-end men's clothing at the Archive in San Francisco. In the past 2 years, men's sales have increased twice as fast as women's, And though the ladies still spend more, that gap is shrinking.
A lot of guys want a better look, a more stylish look, especially in a city with a lot of money coming in.
There are still the hoodies and sagging jeans that seem to be the uniform of the tech crowd, but increasingly men, especially millennials, are upping their game.
Young men today actually grew up shopping. They grew up hanging out in malls. They're much more comfortable shopping than previous generations of men were.
Add to that the ease of shopping online, where upscale clothing can now be found outside of major cities and by people you might not expect.
Same guys that are starting to appreciate, the heirloom quality or the investment in, a tool or something more traditionally masculine. They can start to see that in other aspects of their lives. Oh, I like that fabric. It feels so nice.
And not just millennials.
Let's upgrade your blazer. We'll put you in a less stiff-fitting shirt.
As someone whose style hasn't really changed since the Watergate era and the recipient of less than flattering emails, it was enticing.
What do you think? How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. Yeah. Winning, huh? How much is that?
$11.25.
$11.25?
No. Yeah, $11.25.
Okay. I guess I'll leave this one for the Yummies and Henrys. Mike Sugerman, KPIX 5.
Whoopee. Studies show men spend about $110 billion a year on clothes, women $150 billion.
Wow.
But the gap is expected to shrink over the next 3 years. Paul?
All right, well, try to dress well for television. We're also going to show you something new on television, our Weather Watchers program. Here it is. Lots of folks emailing us and sending us their weather information, which we are now going to use and populate on this map, including a high of 67 degrees today, so says Peggy in Petaluma. She also sent us a little note here saying a little bit of rainfall enough to wet the patio, but not enough to measure. Such is the case in Marin, Sonoma, San Francisco today. Yes, the pavement got wet, but we did not see any widespread rainfall. Peak outdoors. Here is a look at your current temperatures out there. We're looking at 65 in San Bruno, Oakland at 68. Livermore, even cloudy, mild, humid, 70 degrees. San Jose 66, Santa Rosa 65. We did have some rainfall. I'm now using past tense because it is lifting into the Central Valley, where the farmers desperately need some rain as well. So a little bit of good news. We had some light rain in San Francisco and points north and east today. Lows overnight tonight will be mild because we will keep the cloud cover, like Mother Nature throwing a blanket over top of us. Oakland 53, Vallejo 52, and Santa Rosa tonight 49 degrees. It sounds a lot more exciting than it actually is, but we're right on a dividing line between a big, strong ridge of high pressure to our south and a equally strong area of low pressure to our north. That dividing line is sitting right over top of the Bay Area, and that's why we had some showers today. Tomorrow, low pressure kind of wins the battle and shoves the ridge farther to the south, giving us another opportunity for some light rain showers. Widespread beneficial rainfall, no, but a little bit to impact the morning commute or even evening commute. The answer to that is yes, especially north of San Francisco. Then the ridge says, now not done yet, I'm going to push back. And when it does, we're going to see milder weather, sunnier weather, and dry weather for Wednesday and Thursday. So we have a couple opportunities for some showers. One was today. Another one will be tomorrow. We're not talking that much rain. Napa, our computer is predicting less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, but also some measurable rain for you in San Rafael and a few drips of rain again in San Francisco. So a chance for a few showers tonight and tomorrow. Another round of light sprinkles, mainly north, coming up on Friday. But organized widespread rainfall, it's just not in this pattern. We're going to be close, but we're not going to get it. Concord tomorrow, you'll be cloudy, but you still will hit 71 degrees. Same story for Oakland, 71. Milpitas, Santa Clara, Morgan Hill, Redwood City, low 70s, mainly cloudy. San Ramon, you hit 70 tomorrow. Pittsburgh, 72. It'll be a cloudy day in San Francisco. Can't rule out a morning sprinkle for you, 67 degrees. Petaluma, better chance of showers for you. Also Windsor, also Ukiah, with highs around 70 degrees. We are warmer and sunnier Wednesday and Thursday, then a little bit cloudier on Friday with another chance of showers. And if you're already making plans for next weekend, do stuff outside because we will stay in the 70s and we will be mainly dry. That's your forecast. We'll be right back with sports.
The Bay Area men were shut out from March Madness, but the ladies will be lacing up their dancing shoes. Both Stanford and Cal will be hosting their first game as they try to win their way to Tampa.
In Berkeley, that is the Cal Golden Bears. They take on Wichita State.
A happy crowd there. The Bears will get back to practice tomorrow, but tonight was about celebrating the fact that they got into the tournament and they're staying in Berkeley.
We was nervous about hosting and hoping we get to host, but if we didn't host, we was going to be ready to travel. So I'm happy I get to stay home and not have to worry about school. It's a very exciting feeling. I'm just happy to just be able to even get our name called on Selection Monday. So I'm just blessed, and I'm happy we could play in front of our home crowd, and it's go time.
The Stanford women are the number 4 seed in the Oklahoma City region. The Cardinal are making their 28th straight tournament appearance. They will host 13th seed Cal State Northridge at Maples on Saturday. On the men's side, it's been 7 years since Stephen Curry led Davidson to the Elite Eight, but he still strikes fear in opponents. After Iowa found out they'll play Davidson on Friday, the Hawkeyes tweeted just to confirm Steph Curry is out of eligibility, right? Right, he will be busy with the Warriors. Well, Manhattan plays Hampton tomorrow, with the winner getting a shot at unbeaten Kentucky. But the Jaspers aren't ready to think about being a Cinderella just yet.
We are right now obsessed with Hampton. If Hampton was our girlfriend, there'd be a restraining order on us. That's where we're at. We're eat, sleeping, and breathing Hampton. That's all we know is Hampton.
Well, that's one way to put it. Well, Hampton is the only team in the field with a record below 500, so their coach has a different attitude about the possibility of playing Kentucky.
The truthful answer is, yeah, I believe everybody has thought about that. Yeah, it is 1% of me that has thought about it a little bit. And, I just say, probably had Jesus or somebody on speed dial and hope he hot that night if we play.
And KPIX is your home for the tournament beginning on Thursday. And of course, we'll cap it off each night on the March Madness postgame show with Dennis O'Donnell and head coach Danny B. Even Colin Kaepernick knows March is all about basketball. He posted this video of himself throwing down a huge dunk during a break in one of his workouts in Arizona. Now to some football news. The Matt Schaub era is over in Oakland. The Raiders released a veteran quarterback to free up an extra $5 million in cap space. Schaub was brought in last offseason to be the starter, but lost a job in training camp to Derek Carr. And if you were busy trying to predict all 68 tournament teams this weekend, here's what you missed. Jordan Spieth sinks the long 28-foot birdie putt to win at Copperhead. And Georgia State is back in the tournament for the first time in 14 years, but head coach Ron Hunter won't be dancing anytime soon. He tore his Achilles during the celebration. Ouch. And Manu Ginobili not quite ready for the ball there. He gets hit in the face and he tries to tee up the ref. And earlier this month, Alexi Shved had the running hook into the 4th row. Well, the Knicks guard was at it again last night, but only this time the shot actually went in. So it was a little bit closer to the basket. And finally, the Warriors may want to save this one for the playoffs. Andrew Bogut outlets to Steph Curry, who beats the buzzer. Not a bad way to celebrate your 27th birthday, as Golden State blew out New York that night. That's beauty.
And he got a rest, too.
He did get a rest, and he got a birthday cake and a jersey from Panthers head coach Ron Rivera. So a good birthday for Steph Curry.
You guys got your brackets sizing up yet?
Oh, yeah.
Got a couple days.
I've always got my
Till
bracket.
to go.
Gonzaga. Remember the Bulldogs.
All right.
Okay, Paul.
We're ready. We're ready, Ken.
I say that every year. Hasn't worked yet.
For news throughout the
One
evening,
of these years.
we'll have the latest, including all the latest on March Madness, coming up on KPIX.com.
And join us tonight for Night Feed at 10 o'clock on the CW 44 Cable 12. See you then. right. I think Ken's headed downstairs. So. All right. Dramatic new video from the fire inside the Caldecott Tunnel we're seeing for the first time. Look at the promos really quick. Yeah, that'd be great. We're seeing for the first time what firefighters were up against. Keep going. Shocking revelations in a murder mystery. This millionaire mogul may have confessed on tape, but it might not be enough. Tonight at 10 on Bay Area Night Beat. This car burst into flames after a wreck in the Caldecott Tunnel. Now, dramatic new video of what firefighters were up against. Okay, great. Let's do these. Okay. In 3, 2. Dramatic new video from the fire inside the Caldecott Tunnel. We're seeing for the first time what firefighters were up against. Shocking revelations in a murder mystery. This millionaire mogul may have confessed on tape, but it might not be enough. Tonight at 10 on Bay Area Night Beat. Yeah, totally. Is it the 10 or the 20? Is it the 20, right? All right, in 3, 2. Dramatic new video from the fire inside the Caldecott Tunnel. We're seeing for the first time what firefighters were up against. Shocking revelations in a murder mystery. This millionaire mogul may have confessed on tape, but it might not be enough. Tonight at 10 on Bay Area Night Beat. Is that fast enough? All right. In 3, 2. This car burst into flames after a wreck in the Caldecott Tunnel. Now, dramatic new video of what firefighters were up against. Next on Bay Area Night Beat. Faster? Am I really reading slow today? All right. In 3, 2. This car burst into flames after a wreck in the Caldecott Tunnel. Now, dramatic new video of what firefighters were up against. Next on Bay Area Night Beat. Is that fast enough? Do I need to do it again? Okay. Okay. In 3, 2. This is the fire inside the tunnel, captured by firefighter helmet cams. Smoke poured out of the vents after a fiery crash in the right bore this morning. 60 drivers abandoned their cars to escape the tunnel. The tunnel closed for more than 4 hours. Deadly big rig crash. In Pittsburgh, the semi-truck crashed into 2 cars, then into this Mexican restaurant this morning. The cause of the crash, possibly mechanical failure. Racist and homophobic text messages. According to court documents, 4 San Francisco police officers exchanged texts that said, "Black should be spayed, kill half-breed children, filthy flips, and you are a total homo." Tonight, more people in custody for the death of this